Good morning, evening, Tshifhiwa. Thanks very much, excuse me, for your time. It must have been music to your ears when the president announced that the government is finalizing visa agreements with a number of countries to boost tourism.
Yes, it's indeed a positive step taken by the administration and the president in recognizing tourism as one of the most important levers of economy and one of the most important sector that will lift this economy from where it is now. And we welcome the news, and we want the details of this visa regime to be explained to us as an industry, because we've been asking for the past 3.5 years, saying that it's quite important. If we want to see the industry grow, we need to remove the barriers to make sure that people can come into the country, they can enjoy the country, and we can grow tourism and therefore grow jobs. So for us, it's welcome news. We await for the details that needs to come through from the relevant ministries in terms of the implementation. Of course, for us, the sooner the better, because each day that we have these regulations in place, and each day that we have tourists still going up and down before they can get visa to come to the country, it's a day that we are losing. So we want this to be done as soon as possible. We'll welcome the move, and we hope that what we've been asking for as the private sector, the government will respond to it adequately.
Now, within months, the president also said government will also make amendments to regulations on the travel of minors, to people who are not in your space. Why is that important?
It's very, very important, because we've got a number of people for the past 3.5 years to 4 years that have been turned around. When they book the tickets, they arrive at the airports, overseas, with their family, their children, and they're told that they need to have this documentation with them. We are probably one of the only country in the world that has this strict regulation for minors to travel into the country and outside of the country. So it's quite important for us that these regulations are relaxed, so that we can see more of family travel in South Africa, and we can also see South Africans enjoying traveling out of the country and coming back into the country. To get documentation together for a minor to travel out of the country or into the country, it's a big process. It's a cumbersome process, and we've been saying that let's scrap this unabridged birth certificate requirement. Let's go back to the negotiating table. Let's understand why we implemented it in the first place. What were the reasons for implementation? If we are saying that there has been a problem in the past, let's look at the problem together and see the size of the problem, so that we can then say, for this size of the problem, this is the solution that fits this problem. So for us, we hope that the government is going to scrap the unabridged birth certificate altogether, so that we can have a free movement of tourists in and out of the country, and we can be able to grow and sustain this industry. So for us, it's quite a significant step, and we are hoping for the best as we wait for the details to come out from responsible ministry. And we are always ready as an industry to sit down with the ministries or government to partner together to grow this industry. So it is something that's quite important, and we're hoping for the best. And we know that we've done our work as the industry. All the affiliate associations that are concerned under the TBCSA have gone out. They have said what they need to say about the unabridged birth certificate, including the airlines, the inbound tourism sector, and the outbound tourism sector. So it is something that's quite important for the industry, and we hope for the best.
Now, were there other areas of concern to you which the president perhaps didn't touch on, but which you believe will go a long way towards boosting tourism?
Well, there are many regulations that needs to be addressed that will boost tourism. And majority of those regulation affects, if you look at your hotel industry, it's affected by various types of regulations that are being put out. So those we have raised with the minister in order for those to be elevated up to the presidency. Issues of transport, issues of roads, permitting of vehicle that transport tourists. How do we make sure that we get permits on time? so that everyone who's in that space operate legally. Those are the issues that we've raised to the ministry to deal with the Department of Transport. So we have, raised most of those issues that we believe are important because as the Tourism Business Council, our job is to ensure that whatever our members raise as an issue, we take those issues up to government, we make sure that those issues are resolved. So majority of the issues that we've raised are being attended to. But once again, we don't want these issues to be lingering for the next year or 2 or 3 while we're having meetings, we're going back and forth. We need to solve them because us as businesses, we want to do our duties. We want to make sure that we grow this economy. We want to be a participant in this economy. So we do want those issues to be solved immediately. On the issues of visas, in terms of looking at the countries that require visas and those countries that don't require visas, we have been a participant in that process. All we're looking for is that, let's review, those countries that we have imposed visas. For example, we impose visa to New Zealand. Do they really need to have visa to come here? If you look at the countries like UAE, do they really need visas to come here? And the requirements the things that they need to submit to get a visa, it becomes cumbersome for them. We need to remember that, we are competing with other countries in the world. We are not the only country that people will want to travel to. So we need to remain competitive, and we need to make sure that, in the international space, we are seen as a country that tourists can easily travel to. They can come here and have a good time, and they can spend their money, and we can grow this economy and create more jobs.
Tshifhiwa, thanks very much for your time this evening. Tourism Business Council of South Africa Interim CEO Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa, talking, of course, on the back of the stimulus package and how it's going to particularly affect tourism in this country.